Hello and welcome back to another tutorial video on the channel. Today I'm gonna guide you exactly how to build flying machines from scratch. I'm gonna explain you all the mechanics you need to know before building one, and by the end of this video the only thing limiting your builds is gonna be your creativity rather than lack of skill. So let's get started. First we need to understand the basics, meaning how pistons and observers work, as they are the most important components in our flying machines. So let's start by simply covering the sticky piston. So it extends when it gets redstone signal, right? That's pretty much all you need to know about a sticky piston for now. And we have observer. Observer detects updates from this side of the block. So if anything changes on this block, it's gonna output a redstone signal on the opposite side. So it's gonna output a signal to this redstone lamp. So if I, for example, break this button, you see the redstone lamp activates. Very straightforward, very obvious. But now let's get into some weirder mechanics. So if a sticky piston gets a 1 tick signal, which is the output of observer, so when a sticky piston gets an observer signal, as you can see, it leaves the block unattached to it. Rather than retracting it as usual, it's gonna just extend and very quickly retract, leaving the stuff that it pushed away from it. And when we power it again, you see it retracts the block it pushed earlier. So that's gonna be pretty much it for this part, but we also need to know one very important thing. You might already know what I am trying to say, but there is also a mechanic that if an observer moves, even though the block in front of it in practice doesn't really change, because here we have air and here we have air too, observer detects also block states and coordinates and other stuff like that. So when we move it, you see we get also a short signal going from our observer, which is gonna be very useful for us, because when our flying machine moves, it's gonna send a signal back to us, so it can power the flying machine again and again and again. So before we jump into building actual flying machines, let's get to know something about its limitations. I assume you know that slime blocks stick to each other and other blocks that we place next to them. So as you can see, these both pistons have 12 slime blocks connected to them. So when I press this button, they are gonna move, just like expected, right? But sticky pistons and regular pistons too have a limit of 12 blocks to push. They cannot push more blocks than that. So if I, for example, add one block that will want to stick to these slimes, like a redstone lamp, and I activate it, you see this piston doesn't extend. So when you are building your flying machines, you gotta keep that in mind, that you cannot have possibly anything more than 12 blocks, otherwise your flying machine will get stuck and won't move. So now let's get into the fun part, which is building an actual flying machine. As you can see right here, flying machines aren't really that complex. You heard the basic I said, and now you probably can understand what will be going on right here. I'm gonna lower the game tick speed to try to show you exactly what's going on. So when we update one of these observers, I might have lowered the speed a bit too much, but if we update one of these observers, like so, this observer sends a signal to this sticky piston, which moves this block, which activates this observer too, which activates this sticky piston, and the cycle repeats. So now it will work forever until it has a block that will stop it. So let's set the tick speed to normal value, and you see it goes quite fast. So I recommend you have some way of stopping it before you activate it. So that's pretty much it. You can now build your first flying machines. But if you want to know a bit more, stick to the end, as by the end of the video you're gonna know exactly how to build bigger flying machines than the 12 block limit. And how do you do that? Well, as you know, slime blocks stick to the blocks around them. So when we activate any of those pistons, the slime blocks are gonna move and connect everything else. But in 1.15, Mojang added honey blocks, which are really useful for flying machines because, as you can see, they don't stick to slime blocks but behave exactly the same, meaning they stick to other blocks around them. You see? Everything sticks. The same with our slime blocks. So we can build flying machines next to each other, like so, and they won't conflict. They can all run at the same time next to each other, and you can build as many of those and never pass the 12 block limit for piston strength. You can build really enormous trapdoors, elevators, anything from it. But what if you wanted to build your flying machine vertically instead of horizontally, as I've shown earlier? Well, you can do that. You simply build the same thing as with regular flying machine with horizontal, but you build it vertically. There is no philosophy here. You really just need to now update any of those observers, and as you can see, this flying machine starts going upwards. And so that's gonna be it from this tutorial. I hope you understood what I wanted to teach you, and I hope that now you don't need to watch any tutorials to build your own flying machines, and that you can understand them way better than you did before this video. So, thank you guys for watching, and see you soon in the next video. Bye!